When I'm cooking, I love taking flavor to the next level. You know, you could just simply grab some cheddar or mozza. Why not instead Little Qualicum Raclette? The flavor in this cheese is phenomenal. Also, take for example, some roasted red curry paste. You could simply pair this with a little bit of coconut milk or whipping cream, and you're already on your way to an amazing dish. These two flavors are what come together to bring my award-winning mac and cheese, a Thai curry and raclette mac and cheese. I'm Michael Williams, and today, that's what we're cooking on the coast. Welcome to the kitchen. Imagine a cheese that eats like a meal. If that has you interested, you're gonna love our raclette and Thai curry mac and cheese. Let's get cooking. In fact, I already have started cooking. This macaroni is ready to be strained off. So, as per the instructions on the package, I cooked this macaroni, but I let it a little bit more al dente than I normally would. I made sure my water was salted. That's really important. And then I'm gonna toss the macaroni into this dish, and we're just gonna let it cool down. We're preparing our macaroni ahead of time. I'm gonna drizzle a little bit of oil onto this so it doesn't stick. So now, obviously, we need some sauce, yeah? Let's get into that. So we're getting our fry pan nice and hot so that we can saute off some shallots and garlic. Now what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to simply get this shallot peeled. And just like as if I was working with an onion, I cut off the top and the bottom. I peel off the skin, and then I'll be ready to slice. So, I'm gonna slice this, and then we'll get our garlic going. So I'm gonna get a little bit of oil in the pan. I'm gonna get my shallots going, and I'm going to get a couple cloves of garlic as well. Add them to the pan. And what makes this mac and cheese a little bit different is we're playing with some Thai flavors. I've got some roasted red curry paste here. It's gonna add a fantastic flavor. In fact, you know, if you were to enter this mac and cheese into a mac and cheese cook-off, you'd probably win, like I did. This was the 2018 mac and cheese cook-off at the Mount St. Mary Spring Fair, which is a fantastic fundraiser for the Mount St. Mary Hospital. Super fun, you know, easygoing mac and cheese cook-off. It's been running for a few years now, and this was the recipe that I used, which, you know, the public seemed to really enjoy, and it took home the title. So I worked hard on this recipe, love how it turned out, and I think you will too. So as you can see, we're toasting off our shallots and our garlic. We're getting them so they're, you know, lightly browned. And then we're gonna add in our curry paste. We wanna get about 2 tablespoons or so. So we'll give that a quick stir. Wow, the smells have really come alive. You know, working with curry paste like this, it's a really easy way to be a fantastic cook. There's so much flavor crammed into this, you really, you know, it's a no-brainer. So if you haven't started working with curry paste, I would highly recommend it. You can really up your cooking game. So now, we're gonna get our whipping cream in here. We're looking for about 500 mils, which is gonna be half of this container, so I'm just eyeballing it. We're gonna bring that up to a simmer. We're going to add in some cream cheese. We're gonna season it a little bit. There is some salt in the curry paste already, so we don't need too much. Gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper into there. And then once that starts simmering, then we can add in our cream cheese. And that cream cheese is gonna melt into the whipping cream and help give it a nice base. So it's doing that that's gonna help thicken this, at which point we'll be ready to add in our shredded cheese. Now this cheese, beautiful. Love this cheese. This is our Little Qualicum Raclette. Fantastic flavor. It's based on a traditional Swiss recipe, raclette cheese. So we're gonna break this open and we're just gonna grate it. So with our cheese grater, we'll grate this so that it melts nice and easily into our sauce, which is coming along nicely here. In fact, I think I'm now ready to add in the cream cheese, and then while that kind of slowly melts in, we'll grate our raclette. So we'll let that do its thing. All right, so the grating process is always best when the cheese is cold. You want to make sure it's cold, otherwise it becomes quite challenging. This is really, really, really smelling amazing. You know, I haven't done too many steps here, so you can see it's actually pretty straightforward. If we were making that curry paste from scratch, of course, that would be a lot more work, but that's the advantage to working with these fantastic flavor-loaded curry pastes. So now that our cheese is all grated up, let's check this out. Let's try and get that cream cheese stirred in. Get a little bit more of a simmer happening. There we go. Okay, so we are pretty much ready to add in our raclette cheese. As you can see, looks beautiful. I'm telling you though, it smells amazing. And once this melts into our sauce, we are gonna be laughing. So once the cheese goes in, it's a good time to lower the temperature down. We don't wanna boil it too hard once that cheese gets in. And then the other key too is you wanna keep stirring. Really important to keep it moving so that the cheese kind of slowly incorporates itself into that cream. That's a really important step. So I'm gonna turn the temperature down. Keep stirring. So this incredible sauce is coming together beautifully, looks great, smells fantastic. We're gonna be back later in the show to pull together our raclette and Thai curry mac and cheese. But hang in there. Right after the break, we're gonna hit the road and you do not wanna miss that.
Cookin' on the Road is brought to you by Cold Star Solutions, an integral part of Vancouver Island's grocery supply chain for 20 years.
We're at Little Qualicum Cheese Works in Parksville to find out how they make their incredible cheese. It all starts right here in the barn with Raymond. Nice to see you.
Good to see you, Mike.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, so
this is the start.
Right here.
This is the forage, the grass that we grow. Our farmers covered in it, and the flavor of the milk and the flavor of the cheese depends on the quality of this feed.
Okay.
And it also depends on the well-being of these cows.
Yeah.
So this is our herd. We've got 50 mixed breed cows in this fully automated robotic barn.
Yeah.
Where they have a feed pusher that pushes up their feed throughout the day.
Right.
They have automatic alley scrapers, and most of all, they have an automatic robotic milker.
Okay.
So instead of lining up twice a day to be milked, they go in whenever they feel ready. They're on their own schedule, their own routine.
Yeah.
And that really keeps them calm and happy.
Yeah.
It's less hands-on work for the farmers.
Which is great, yeah.
And it's also more milk production overall. The life in here is the foundation for awesome milk, which we need for awesome cheese.
Right.
So this is our freshly pasteurized milk. We got raw milk here this morning, heated it up, killed all the bacteria, cooled it down. Now we're adding new bacteria.
Okay.
And these starter cultures are really going to start developing the flavor and characteristics of the cheese.
Right.
So this is pre-cultured milk for feta.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and add it in slowly and spread it throughout. That's going to mix in. Those bacteria are going to start digesting lactose into lactic acid, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And soon we'll add the rennet. That turns it into a solid mass. At that point we can cut it, stir it into what's called curds, and then it's drained into molds where it gets its final shape and texture. So this is where all of the magic happens. We've got our freshly pressed cheese. Gets brined in here, gets salted, and then it's smeared. And that beautiful orange color, that's developed by these bacteria called B. linens.
Okay.
And that provides all of the flavor and aroma that's distinct to raclette.
Right, which is a lot.
Yeah, a little goes a long way.
Absolutely.
But it's in here for about a month.
Yeah.
And then it goes into cold storage for a little more aging.
Yeah.
And then it's ready to rock.
Okay.
But we are going to flip some brie.
Let's do it.
Today's job.
Right on.
This is a relatively fresh batch of brie. The freshest one is right there. You can see there's no mold on that at all. That hasn't been flipped.
Oh, my mouth's watering.
I know. Part of it is flipping these ones. So you do this rack, I'll do this.
Okay.
They need to be flipped just right over in their spot.
And it doesn't matter if you know, get the perfect cross marks.
Doesn't matter.
No, okay.
Sometimes I try to go for those beautiful barbecue grill lines.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So these will continue to ripen, in here and then in your fridge, and the inside will continue to get runnier and runnier until eventually, if we've gotten everything right with the moisture and whatnot, it'll just be oozy and rich in a month or two, and then you can even just spread it on your crackers. It's fabulous cheese.
So it looks like we got a few cheeses to try here.
That's right, it's what it's all about. We've got our Island Brie, our Raclette, and our Blue Claire, which is the one we just saw them packaging.
Right.
Tasting cheese is really the whole point of this. Enjoying connecting with people over cheese, the community, the friendship, all of that stuff that's facilitated by shared food.
Yeah.
And it all starts with this delicious fresh milk that's grass-fed by animals that are cared for. It's crafted with a lot of attention to detail, and then we just get to enjoy the finished product.
Totally.
The culmination.
What better way to spend time with friends than an amazing artisan product?
I agree.
Thank you so much, Raymond. This has been fantastic. I'm going to keep eating cheese, though. Back in the kitchen, we're pulling together our raclette and Thai curry mac and cheese. You know, I can tell you just by smelling it, this sauce is amazing. It's emanating, it's filling the room. Strong flavors with the curry, with the raclette, incredible. Our macaroni is cooked to al dente, as I mentioned, so it's a little bit firmer than we would want it if we were gonna eat it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put that macaroni into the sauce, and when we heat it up, it's gonna finish cooking, it's gonna be perfect. So that's how that's rolling out. But what we wanna do here is we wanna bring it up a notch. We wanna get some fantastic flavors, some garnishes, and play and have a little bit of fun. I've got some roasted chicken thighs here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shred this up. It's already cooked beautifully. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shred it up, I'm gonna drizzle some honey on top, and then we're gonna throw it back in the oven and make it nice and crispy. So you can do that with your fingers. You can just shred it with your fingers. You can also grab a couple forks and pull it apart with, holding it with one fork and pull with the other against the grain. Get some nice shredded chunks of chicken here. And then once you're ready, we've got more than we need. You know, I like having leftovers. When I'm cooking, when I do a process, I like to have, I like it to be, to go a long way. You do all those steps, all that effort. Why not do a little bit of extra if you think you're gonna use it up in the next couple of days? It's a great way to roll. There'd be many ways we could use this roast chicken in too. Like, we're gonna use it as a garnish for our mac and cheese, but it would make a fantastic sandwich meat as well. Got some nice BC honey here. We're gonna drizzle that fairly liberally, not too much, but enough so that we can get a nice caramelization happening. And, me as a chef, I'm always an advocate for fresh. Fresh is best. But there's a time where processed granulated garlic, for example, comes in really handy. And, I love my fresh garlic, but there's something about this granulated garlic sprinkled all over top of that honey chicken into the oven, nice and crispy. It's gonna be amazing. I was a little bit heavy-handed there on purpose. So that's gonna go in the oven. We're gonna fire the broiler on so that it gets nice and crispy. And we'll let that do its thing. Let's get tidied up, and then we're going to get some heat going on our sauce. So we'll turn that up. Now, as this comes up to a simmer, I'm gonna make sure I want to stir this several times. So I've got a nice whisk here, which is gonna make sure to let me know if I've got any chunks of cheese that need to be dissolved. It melted quite nicely already, and as you can see, I turned it on earlier, I melted all the cheese, and I just turned it off to let it sit. You can do this ahead of time. You can make this sauce up, in fact, cool it down, put it in the fridge so that it's ready for the next day. You could have your macaroni actually cooked as well. And instead of combining both of them when you're making the mac, if you're making it ahead of time for the next day or even a couple days down the road, have your sauce cold, throw it in the pot, heat it up. Once the sauce is hot, then we can add in our macaroni. Now I've got more than I need here, so I'm just gonna eyeball this a little bit. I think that's probably about good right there. So we're gonna let that simmer away. Right now it's a little bit more liquidy than I would like, which is good because as this simmers away, what's gonna happen is that macaroni's gonna cook just a little bit more and it's gonna absorb some of that sauce and it's gonna thicken up. It's gonna be great. I'm really looking forward to digging into this. So we've got our macaroni. We've got our chicken crisping up in the toaster oven behind us. Let's do a couple more things. Let's slice some green onion. Now, what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna show you a couple different ways that you can play with green onion. So we've got our bunch here lined up. Now, washed, of course, trimmed the ends if needed. You can just slice it straight off. And when you do it like that, you end up with nice little rings. Now, if you want to change it up a little bit, you can do it on a bit of a 45. So by doing it on the angle, it just changes the appearance a little bit, and we end up with these nice kind of big rings. So there's two different ways you can play with your green onions. Now, finally, I'll show you one more trick that I know about. I'm gonna cut it into section like so. And then I'm gonna take that section and I'm gonna slice it lengthwise. And this is my favorite way. I love the presentation of doing it like this, because we end up with these beautiful long julienne strips of green onion. And it makes for a great presentation when we go to plate up, which we're gonna do very shortly here. Now, obviously, as you can see, that knife is, quite close to my fingertips. In fact, it's actually resting right on my finger. This is definitely an advanced technique, so not something that the faint of heart or the lack of experience cook would want to do. But what I'm doing is I'm actually sliding that knife right on this finger. This finger right here is my guide on the knife. And I'm using it to slowly inch its way back while I slice that green onion. So, there you go. You got three different ways you can attack your green onion. We got our standard cut, our bias cut, and the julienne. Our macaroni is looking great. In fact, what do you think? I think that we're ready to turn the heat off on that and just let it sit until we're ready to plate. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I think our chicken's ready. Let's check it out. Oh my goodness, that looks amazing. Check that out. Wow. So that's exactly what we want right there. Beautiful. Nice and crispy. All that color, the flavor, the honey, I can smell it. It's fantastic. You know what? I'm about to start plating up here, but I should probably give this a taste, right? You always got to taste your food. Wow, that's delicious. I'm really happy with that. So, time to plate up here. Just give that a quick stir. You can see it's nice and hot still. That consistency is perfect. Looking good. Okay, we are ready to add a little bit of chicken on there. It is hot, but I've got chef fingers, so I can handle it. Gonna sprinkle that on top. Okay, and we've got our beautiful green onions. Which one should I choose? Which one? What do you think? The rings? No, I'm gonna go with that. As I said, my favorite, the julienne. Sprinkle that on top. And then all we need now to finish this off is a little bit of color. So some fresh sliced tomato. And then I'm gonna put another little cut on that to make it a julienne tomato. There we have it. This is looking fantastic. Our cheesy raclette and Thai curry mac and cheese.
Pairings are brought to you by Liquor Plus. Discover the plus.
When I think about the bold flavors in this recipe, what a better way to follow it up than with a delicious beer. Lee from Aerosmith Brewery. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, you as well.
So tell me, why did you decide to pair your IPA with this, bold flavor?
So I brought our whole range today.
Yeah.
We've got our Aerosmith Blonde, our Hefeweizen, Pale Ale, and our Porter.
Love porter.
But we specifically picked the IPA for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
First of all, we're really hoping that the hop character to it is going to cut that spice, the red curry spice, a little bit.
Yeah.
And then also it's going to It's going to cut that fattiness of the cheese a little bit.
Right, it's a rich dish for
yeah,
sure.
cut the
There's lots of
richness.
creaminess and the
It should
cheese.
pair well, almost like a little bit of a palate cleanser.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So Aerosmith Brewery is right close to Little Qualicum Cheese Works.
We are. We're actually just down the street and around the corner.
Really?
So,
Right
yeah,
on.
we actually use a couple of their cheeses at our brewery for our kitchen. So
Okay.
we're fairly familiar with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're nice keeping it local.
Shall we?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I will crack this and get pouring.
11 IPA. And, you know, I'm picturing the hoppiness and, you know, good strong flavors to stand up to this. It seems like it's going to work in my brain for sure.
Yeah, so this one, we use several different hops, Citra and Centennial being the main ones.
Okay.
So you're going to get a little bit of that tropical citrus from it, which again is going to pair nicely with that Thai red curry. Pretty fragrant on the nose.
Yeah, it smells incredible.
Yeah, and then, yeah, should we try?
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers.
Cheers.
Wow, that is nice.
Yeah, so nice and balanced, not too bitter.
Yeah.
The hops integrate nice and well into the beer
they're
there.
not, they're not too dominating. Well, let's try the mac and
Absolutely.
cheese and see what you think. So lots going on there, right?
Yeah.
Not your typical mac and cheese, but I'm liking the play between these two. It's delicious.
Yeah, I think that tropical vibe we were talking about with the hops is really working with the Thai spice to
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
So Lee, tell me a little bit more about Aerosmith. I'm not super familiar with it. I think I've seen it, but tell me.
Yeah, for sure. So we've been in business for about 2 years now, or 2.5.
Yeah.
Family.
So fairly new.
Yeah,
Young,
pretty new.
young.
Yeah, we're kind of not so much the new kids on the block
Right,
anymore.
yeah.
But yeah, we're family owned and operated.
Yeah.
Parksville family. Our brewmaster's originally from Parksville.
Okay.
We've had a fair bit of success so far. So our Aerosmith Blonde actually won Best in the World last year.
Wow.
Best
so
golden
for
ale.
a blonde ale, best golden ale. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, and then the IPA that we just tasted there won silver at the BC Beer Awards last year. So we
Fantastic.
were pretty happy with that.
Great
being,
stuff. Thanks so much for coming out, Lee. Appreciate
Thanks for
it.
having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Check out our website where you'll find info on today's show. I'm Michael Williams. Thanks for watching, and do not forget, dinner is better when we eat it together. Tuck into this chicken. It's the roast chicken that really makes this dish. I love it.